All right, so good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Patricia, and I'm going to be your trainer today, and we are training on the F&G illustration. So each time you sit down with the client to help a client, right, the first thing that you do is the EFA, the expert financial analysis, to make sure that you're designing a policy that is suitable for that client and their family, right? So the second thing for you to actually see how to design it and just see how the numbers will perform in that illustration or on the page or whatever, on the ledger, we use the illustration software for us to design that policy. It's very, very important that you understand, because if you make a mistake, then definitely everything is not going to come out good. You're trying to do what is best for the client. So this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to share my screen here. So for the ones that maybe have another computer, if you want to be, you know, exercising the same things I'm doing, you can log on to two devices so that you can just, practice and just do what I'm doing step after step. But if you don't, that's okay too. Okay. I'm going to share this. See my screen there. So once we log on to F&G, and I'm assuming everybody here is already appointed with F&G, when you log into F&G, this page is going to show up, and then there'll be a login button there. When you click on that button, it's going to populate these three things here: financial and insurance professional, policy holder, and also the PRT group annuity and certificate holder. Well, the only one we're concerned about is this one, the first one, right? We click on there to log in. You all have set up your accounts, right? So this is my personal one here, right? I don't know why this keeps on coming over there. All right, so can you all see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you can see my screen. All right, so it's gonna look like this. And of course, if you're logging in, your name is gonna appear here. The agent ID number is gonna appear there and your name, right? And this is how it's gonna look like. Well, for what we are doing today, we're gonna go on the sales tools, right? Dr. Mputu does the Monday training, and he always, goes through all these tabs here, which I also like to mention it, right? On your own spare time, you can just go on here and see what is my business, what is, under this my agents, the products and sales tools and forms and materials and everything. There's just so much information here that even after or before the training, you can do that by yourself, yeah, just to try and learn and see what is there. Educate yourself, so to speak. So for today, we're going to go onto the sales tools, right? We're going to click on that tab. Once we click on it, these things are going to populate here: content library, the FIA calculator, illustrations, suitability, and all that. We're doing illustrations, so that's our concentration. So we go there. Once we click on that, this page is going to open for us. Okay? And it's going to look like this. It's going to have two softwares, illustration softwares. One is going to be the annuities, right? We are not doing annuities today. For this training, it's going to be live. So it's going to be this gentleman here that says F&G Live Illustrations, right? That's the one that we're going to click on. So we go there and click on that. And then the page is going to open looking like this. It has two tabs. The first one says Start a New Case, and the second one says View My Cases. So this is the designs that you'll have already created previously. And if you wanted to go there and see, maybe you want to check on the numbers or whatever information, this would be the tab that you'll have to click on. But for today's training, right, we are starting on this new case. So we're going to go ahead and click on the new case. And this page is going to open for us. Does anybody have any questions with that? It's very simple, very, very simple, right? So you get on there and this new case opens up. Now, we're going to have to enter the information for the client. It says case information, right? So proposed insured. So usually sometimes people have asked, well, is it my information that I have to enter here? No, we're creating or designing this for a client. So obviously it's not gonna be our information. The only time we enter our information is when it says agent, right? If there's anything that says agent information, that's when we put our information. But for this case here, it's a client's case. So we're gonna put the first name for the client. And I always use Jane Brown. Some people use John Doe and Jane Doe, whatever, but I just do Jane Brown. So, okay, let me do a capital J there. So Jane and Brown. So that's our client. And for illustrations, we always use a 32-year-old because it just gives you a better understanding, and then it also gives you the time because with the illustrations for the index with the compounding, you have to give it at least a good 10 years to see really the performance of that and how great those numbers will look. So usually this is what age we use. We use a 32-year-old. I'll just put there. Oh, what I was typing. All right, so we're gonna use January the 1st, 1993. That should give us 32, yeah. And we're gonna illustrate for a female, right? Which is Miss Jane. So once that is done, oh, what was I doing here? Nobody said something. I was typing in a wrong box. Okay, is that clear? Can you see that, everybody? Yeah?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right. So, you know what? I saw Dr. Mputu. He does where instead of me saying everything, I think I give an opportunity for you guys to tell me what to put in here because you've been seeing these things. I've been training, for a while, and you guys know those things. So let's test you. Let's see, what is the next thing I do here? If any of you remember here, what's the next thing that I do?
You're not going to put something on the case description for now. We're going to go to the state and product type.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's what I'm talking about. So now we get here where we get to the career and product. What do I put there? What's the information that I put there?
The
That's the state
customer.
of your customer, correct?
Okay. So, Miss Olga, where are you right now?
In Texas.
Okay. So let's go Texas. So let's assume this is your client and your client is in Texas as well, right? So
Yes.
put Texas. So now, what do we put on the product type?
Five setters.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, index universal.
Index universal.
That's wonderful. And then on the available products, what do we select?
Path setter.
We're going to go to FG path setter.
That's wonderful. Okay. So now the first page is done, right? So now we come to the second page, right? So the second page, we just go. What do we do here before we go any further?
Proposal.
Basically nothing right now so far from what you just showed.
Yeah, we just double check and make sure that we put the information we entered there was correct. Just to double check the age was the month, the correct month and everything. Because sometimes you can have a fat finger, right? Instead of January, you put, maybe January, March, or whatever it is. So it's always good to just double check to make sure that everything looks correct with the client for the client's information. Now we come over here where it says solve. What do we do here? Actually, I beg your pardon, right here. Underwriting class, what do we do there?
No, it's going to be.
We'll leave it as it is.
We'll leave it underwrite as it is, correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Why do we leave it as it is?
So the underwriter himself will see either we are in that classification or not. Maybe we might be on a different classification. Could it be? But we let the underwriter decide that based on our information.
Wonderful. Great. How about these underwriting guidelines? What is that for?
So that would give us some ideas as agents to look around if we know our customer, maybe if they take blood pressure medications. What do you think? Just have a general ideas of read through it to give you an idea where might be our customer classified, either they're overweight, all those things.
Wonderful. Good. All right. So when we come to solve, what is it that we do over here on solving?
What
Okay,
happened?
I'm gonna just
Click
go.
on yeah. I think that's where we choose what it is that we want to do for this particular illustration. Are we solving for, target face, income, or what it is? That's where we choose the type of policy, I think. Not the type of policy, but what we're trying to solve for.
Right. But for
What the client is trying to achieve.
right. Exactly. So for right now, we're just gonna leave it on none, right? Because we're just doing the first design, then we can come back here depending on how we want to solve, we can choose these tabs. That's a great answer. Thank you, Chola. So now we go to face amount. What do we do here?
That's where we're going to put the face amount,
Okay.
initial face amount.
Okay, wonderful. And for illustration purposes, what is the amount that we put?
1 million.
1 million.
Okay, so 1 million. All right. When we come to death, death benefit option. When we
Option
come to
B.
death, right. So what are the what is the difference between these three?
Option B is increase the death benefit. Option A, the death benefits keep level. So we choose option B to increase our death benefit.
Okay, and the last one, the varies option B to A, what does that mean?
It's both of them.
Investment means like you're starting by increasing, and then later on you get to be the premium will be leveled.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're not gonna do anything on the change face amount, reducing death benefit, nothing. Now we'll come to premium, right? So what do we do here on the premium?
We can put the target.
We put it, okay. What about the payment mode? Okay, let me just do that. What do we do here? Because we have 4 different ones, right? What does that mean?
The options the client has to pay. It can be annual, semi, quarterly, or monthly. So if the customer wants the monthly, we're going to click on the monthly payment.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right, what about the premium?
The target is going to be target one.
Okay. So it's gonna be the target one, but what about the others? What's the reason why we have all those?
We do have those other type just in case of we wanna do something specific for the client. So we can choose level, or we can do vary, or we can use minimum, depending on what the client need.
Wonderful. Thank you. Great response. That is true. You guys, man, I'm telling you, you know what's going on. All right. So now here on the interest and crediting options. All right. What do we do here?
So we change it we change the 33, 34, 33, 34. On the first one, 34, second one, 33, third one, 34. So which will totalize, which will make the total of 100.
Yeah, what did you say again, Lorette? You said what?
33, 34, 33.
No, 34, 33, 34.
33, 34, 30, 33. So now, why can't we just, why are you changing? Why are you putting different, let me see.
So
So
according to,
why are you putting different amounts here or different percentages when it's already giving you that? What's the reason for that?
so
You
we
need to diversify the investments,
correct.
Mhm.
spread it out.
Exactly. Wonderful. So, and right, so Miss Olga, what did you say?
I was thinking it should be 33, 34, and 33 to
Ex-
make it 100.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that was my
All
fault.
right. So it always has to have, and yeah, so very, very, and you have to remember these segments that you're choosing here. Once you get to the application, right, there is a place where you have to choose, and they are written a little bit different, but you have to remember that exactly what you chose here has to match on the application.
Mhm.
So in most cases, I tell, people that you can get a snapshot of this and just save it in your phone, just in case you're confused and you're not sure when you go to the application, you can refer back to the snapshot and make sure that you indicate exactly the same indexes. Okay? So here really, there's nothing much we have to do on the bottom here. We don't have to do anything. We leave it as it is, as default, right? And then we go on to the calculating results. Yeah. Once we click on there, now the ledger is gonna open up for us. Okay. So what do we do here? If you have a client and you come here, or if you're the one training, right? You're training 5 people, 10 people. What are you going to tell them when you get here to this page?
This is the illustration of the whatever the interest, the cash, the account value you're going to get, how it's going to be presented to you. So
Mm-hmm,
for the first year, you're going to have like 46.67, and the second year 96.50. And most thing, I forgot something. Annual payment, it's always the same for this one. It's 74.80. So that's what you're going to pay annually. But for the interest, you're going to compare to the focus on account value and death benefit to show them the difference.
mm-hmm,
That's what I think.
mm-hmm. And you always have to tell them this premium, doesn't change, and this policy will cover you all the way up to the age of what? 120.
20.
Yeah. And then once you do that, then now you have to come and explain to them, you know, what these tabs are, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So can somebody just explain to me from here? You said, yeah, the annual premium is a contribution, right? For 12 months. That's the total. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the annual premium. So what about these tabs? What or how can you train somebody and let them know that this is what it is if you're training?
So I can say something. Uh,
Sure.
it's Jen on the first line. It says year one. That's the year that you took the policy. You are 33 years old this year, and if you pay in the second, third line, if you pay $7,400, so that's the amount of payment you have made for this year. On that first year, um, the second column is if in the case you borrow anything, it would be right there. So since the first, and then after that, an account value for that first year, your account has give you a value of 4,667. So for the same year, surrender value means that the amount of the money that you can take on that year. Remember, you just got this policy. You cannot get anything for this year. But in the case you die, death benefit for your family, they will have $1 million. So, but if you go to the line number 5, for example, you will see that if you make a total of 740, 8,000 times 7 times 7, you see that your amount has increases. If you go to account value on lines 5, on the year 5, you would have probably $26,000 of your value. But remember, that's the value that you have, Miss Jen. But on a surrender value means that in year 5, you can go ahead and borrow $20,000. That's basically what I'll tell Miss Jen so far until line 5.
Okay. All right. Well, now, can somebody explain to me when we get to year 15, what would you tell them? Does anybody pick up? Now we are illustrating the benefits, right? The benefits of an IUL. So I gave that presentation yesterday and I told them all about what this account can do. So it is on this ledger now that you can demonstrate those benefits using these numbers. So when we get to year 15 years, this client has been paying for 15 years. What do you tell them over here?
I can go ahead and say that again. 7,480 times 15, which makes us 100.
24.
112, 200. 112 and $200 on the year 15, Miss Jen. So if you make your calculation for how much money you have contributed in year 15, go to you're gonna see the $124,000. So can you scroll down a little bit, scroll up a little bit so I can see what am I? Okay, go again. Keep going. All right. Account value. Now you can go back. I did not know which one I'm reading. On the year 15, your account value will be 124,000. Miss Jen, look, you have put money from your own account, $112,000, but your account is already 124. So that means that they pay you a little more than what you have put. And if you go to the next column, you're gonna see that you can even borrow $124,000. So there's always a win-win situation here. You still can borrow more money than what you have put down as $112,000. I don't know if that's what I say is true.
Yes.
Well, it is true, but there's something that is very important that has happened here that you have to mention to them.
That the account value is now equal to the surrender value. So you'll be able to borrow almost 100% of what you put in premiums. Is that it?
That's it. But the most important thing is the compound interest.
Okay.
A compound interest, you have to let them know that, this account will give you that compound interest where your interest is compounding over the years. And then you go from year 15 and you say, as you can see, look at the compound interest that you earn, 124, then it's 140 the second year, the third year after that is 1. So it'll compound for you. So this is the power of this account. Okay, so that's one thing. So, and then also that's when you tell them, in case something happens to you at this time, right? A death benefit.
Before you moving forward,
There's
Patricia,
something we have done here. Why is the death benefit not
Yes.
I
accelerated?
was going to ask that. I think we're still
I
on
was
option A.
Yeah,
I saw that. I saw that too.
I think
I'm
we're
just
still
like,
on
okay,
option
because
A.
I was like, no.
no,
Yeah, no
yes, because
wonder. It's
the
option.
value should
Yeah.
be on the
But you
death
see,
benefits.
so this is the thing, guys. I'm glad that I'm doing the way I'm training today, because if you make a mistake, who's gonna suffer? Who's gonna really feel the pinch?
Your client.
The
Your client.
customer, your client.
Client, because you're doing this for your client and you have to make sure that you do it right. Because if you do level, then it means there will be no acceleration, right? So we caught that. That's good. So we had to come back here and make it right. So now when we go back here, it's going to look different. Okay, so
I was going to ask him, like, why is the
Yeah,
death
me.
benefit level?
there we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
noticed it too.
So this is now the benefit of always choosing increasing, because some people say, well, they think it doesn't really matter. There's a reason why it's increasing and level, and also starting with increasing and then leveling, as the client ages. So it depends. Every client is different. They might say, let's start with increasing, but from 67 when I retire going down, I want it to be level. Then you can do it. So it's gonna illustrate differently, right? So this is the one that we are talking about here. So now, what other benefits? Okay, we talked about if this client had to pass away, right?
Mhm.
What happens then? Because now I want somebody to tell me the benefits. We've talked about the compound interest. We've talked about I think that's all we've talked about. We've talked about also, I remember, Laurent, you said something about you can take a loan, or you can, but you didn't actually elaborate. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you know about the benefits, and how do you illustrate that? Because in most cases, let me tell you, as you do this every time when you have a client, there'll come a time where you don't even have to do, the slides. You know how we do the PowerPoint and everything. You can just come straight to illustration, and you can do everything here and close a client using the numbers and showing the benefits at the same time. That's all you need. You don't have to go to family A and family B and all that if you really master this very well. So we've talked about compound interest. We've talked about the flexibility that you can withdraw, and you can also get this money through what? Through a loan.
Without taxes.
Uh-huh. So what else? No taxes. That's another benefit. What are the other benefits of an IUL?
The Can I say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So just in case if you have to pass at year 15, your family is going to get 1,124,000.
Mhm.
Age 15, yes, 1,124,000 and 109. That's the benefits your family is going to get. So meaning that they're going to get the death benefits and the interest, the value that it has been increased on the policy.
So what about taxes? Is this death benefit, are they
It's
gonna pay
free.
taxes?
IUL is free of taxes. So it's going to be given, a check is going to be sent to the family or the beneficiary free of taxes. That's
Wonderful.
the wonderful thing.
Great. What other benefits? Now, let's go to the time when this client is
60.
retiring, right? Let's look at 65. So for instance, what do you say when you get to 65 and you are illustrating for your client? What do you tell them?
When you reach 65 and retire, you're going to have 23,642 that you can get of not withdraw, get it from the account without taxes, and that's just going to be used like your retirement money, free
Mm-hmm.
of taxes. You
Okay.
can invest it if you want. You can do whatever you want. It's your money.
Mm-hmm. So now let's talk about illness. Let's talk about the illnesses. What happens if somebody gets sick, and what kind of illness would this policy pay for? Somebody else can tell us?
Critical, somebody else, yes.
Mhm. All right. Critical. What else?
Chronic.
Wonderful. What else?
Terminal.
Wonderful. And how is that paid? How is it calculated? How do they determine how that can be paid?
Terminal illness can be up to 100% depending on the company. Critical can be up to 90%.
That's right. Okay. That's very true. Anybody else that can tell me now what happens after, with chronic? What happens with chronic? When does it happen? And long term as well. Because this IUL has a great benefits, so many of them. What are the other benefits?
Autopilot.
Say that again, Amos.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Exactly. Exactly. That this account will run for you. You can start getting that money and, because it's accumulating and it's still compounding, it will run for you for the rest of your life. Okay? So how can you explain to me, Amos, how does autopilot happen? How does it work?
Let's say a client decides to contribute to this policy for 15 years or 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
They can set it up. You can set it up. You can set it up for them. There's an option where you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it reaches that time frame where they feel like they can stop contributing to it, it will continue with the amount of money that is accumulated over time,
Mm-hmm.
up to I think 121, depending on how they have,
Money.
been funding it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Okay, so income for life. We talked about that. Did somebody mention anything about income for life? That's another great benefit, okay? So I'm going to open up a different page. Before we leave here, I need also to go on the premium summary, and I want somebody to just explain that. What does that mean? How can you break it down? How do you illustrate that to your client? You guys know this. Come on. You know what this is. I train every week. Today we're just, we're just trying to test ourselves and see how much we know. I know you know this. If this
I
page
can
comes
volunteer
up,
again.
yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So with the premium summary, you tell your client the annualized premium. This is how much of the premium they have paid in, they have to pay in the 12 months of their, policy. So which is 7,480. Now the target premium still is the same amount of money that they can pay annually within the 12 months. Now, if you were to break it down to monthly, that will be $623.33. Then I wouldn't go down to the minimum because we don't recommend it,
Right.
but I would jump from there and go to 7 pay, which makes a lot of sense. Let me say, Mr. Parikana, 7 pay means this is the maximum that the IRS allows you to put into this policy without exceeding the modified endowment contract, which is the make.
Wonderful. Great. So now I also like to go here because I think it gives us a better preview, right? And it's calculated every 10 years. As you see the ledger, when we open it there, it gives us it doesn't give us exactly how much the client has contributed, right? But when you open up here to the preview page, it really breaks it down really good. And also here with the life insurance illustration, when you come here and you open this up, how can you break this down? What does this mean over here? These four things. What can you say that is? What are these things? Do they have to pay extra money for these things?
No, no, I think
Okay.
these are the contracting documents they're supposed to sign.
Okay. So,
Review and e-sign. You mean the review and e-sign?
okay, so yeah, they'll definitely do that, but you have to let them know that this IUL, this policy that you have, right? All these things will be covered under that policy. It's gonna come with that wealth transfer, the cash value accumulation, the living benefits, and supplemental riders. So it's a whole package, okay? And then you
Okay.
go down on here. Of course, the first page, when you come here, you can see that it tells you exactly what this policy is, right? The details.
Patricia, I don't think we're seeing what you're seeing.
Really?
Yeah, that's why some people are confused what you're talking
Okay,
about.
you can't see this page right here?
We're looking at the main page of the illustration. I think you clicked on something, didn't you?
No, I'm looking at, I didn't click on anything. Okay. Are
Are
you
you looking at the quotes?
okay? All right, look here. Okay, what can you see here? I'm scrolling down. Can you see me scrolling down?
No, ma'am.
No,
Oh
we
my
are looking
No,
at
You
goodness.
the
see
it's
review and
stuck.
sign illustration.
yeah,
Oh,
review and
really?
sign. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
well, let me go back. I don't know why. It maybe just stops sharing, but I'm still sharing. I'm still sharing my page.
Yeah, just sharing a different
I
window.
think it's just hung.
All right, let me go back. Let me close this. Can you see this white part now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it jumped from there. It opened for me, but it didn't open for you guys. I don't know why. All right. All right, unlock. All right. Sorry about that. So let's just do it again and see if it's gonna behave this time. It takes a minute to compile. All right, let's hope it's gonna show here. Can you now see?
No.
No.
No?
No.
No, so now we can see back the other page, the previous page that
Wow. So
was.
you're not seeing this life illustration and the wealth transfer cash value. You can't see that.
No.
No.
No,
Oh my
ma'am.
goodness. I don't know what
You
really.
might wanna share your screen, not the window.
The window, share the entire screen so that when it opens in a new window, you
Okay.
can still show.
Okay, I'll try it one more time. If not, then we'll go to the next thing. We don't want to waste a lot of time on just one thing, right? Okay, return to the illustration page. And what I'm gonna do is once I click on there, okay, you can see that I'm clicking on here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So once that opens, I'm gonna share the whole screen and see what happens. 'Cause it is a whole screen. It's a whole screen I'm sharing. Can you now see?
Nope.
Oh, well, something is going on with my computer, maybe. But this is unusual. Wow.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that.
but I can see your cursor though.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have a bunch of stuff here. It's just 2 pages that I have open, so I don't know why it's doing
So
that.
what we're seeing right now is validate and lock.
Yes, yes. And I
Yes.
wanted to just go to where we can see the whole numeric summary. That's what I wanted to go and do. But for some reason, it's opening for me, but you guys, it's not sharing that screen.
Mm.
Okay. All right. All right. So the last time we said that we're gonna do $1 million baby. Remember, we couldn't do $1 million baby. So we're gonna go back here, and I want somebody to tell me how do we design $1 million baby? What do we change? Because here we were illustrating for a 32-year-old. So coming over here, what has to change so we
The
can do
date of
that?
birth.
Okay. So what am I gonna put as a date of birth? Can somebody tell me? Give me the date of birth.
01/15 or 16/2025.
Okay. Right. Okay. And then what else do we do?
The owner's name, the parents.
Mm-hmm. How do you spell your name? Like that?
OLGA. I misspell it over there. Yes, correct.
Okay, I'll just leave it like that. So it's
That's
great.
correct.
What else do we do?
There we're not doing something there.
What do we do here?
Juvenile. Yeah. It's a juvenile rated
Okay. All right. Is it rated or standard?
standard.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. What do we do now? Do we change anything?
No, nothing to change there. Target monthly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's correct.
Right?
Calculate.
All right. So we get over here on the summary. Okay. So now what are we going to tell the client about this policy? First of all, let's go here. Let me start here. I think it's very important to start there before we go to the policy summary. Monique, you've raised your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I just wanted to add something when it comes to baby policies.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the face amount. So because there's some guidelines on how much we can apply for a kid, given the situation, there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things to consider when it comes to the face amount for the kid. So putting a 1 million face amount for a kid, I don't know how that's realistic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I know exactly what you mean because for illustrations, right, they want us to do the 1 million. However, I know that because it's an accelerated type of a policy, with an index, you can start off with a small amount, face amount, and that child, when we start, the child is less than 1 year. By the time the child turns into their 20s or in their 30s, they'll have that $1 million because the death benefit accelerates over the time.
Yes, but I was also looking at the guideline that says that for a baby to have a 1 million policy, the family should have like a double of the kid is applying for. So
Yeah,
if if the kid has like 1 million policy, it means mom and dad have at least 2 million, which is kind
well,
of not usual.
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, in most cases, I mean, we are illustrating, this is just even $1 million, the illustration that we do, it's not for everybody, right? This is just for illustration purposes. Even me, I don't have a $1 million policy yet, but there are people who can afford a $1 million policy. So you want to give that number a visual that if somebody had to have $1 million, this is how it's going to look. But is everybody going to, we're just illustrating, is everybody going to get $1 million? No, it's just for you.
Yeah,
And
I do understand that. But what I'm trying to say here, I think it's going to be better to be illustrating on something that can be really going on, affordable and realistic. And that's just a suggestion.
mm-hmm. Well, I don't know because with the training, this is how we are not every family is different, right? So like I give myself an example. I don't have $1 million policy, but we have people in our team that have $2 million policy because they can afford it. It's up to you on how you can afford it. But for this is just for training, right? But when you are doing for a client, of course, it's gonna be maybe 200,000, maybe 300,000. We've done different policies for clients here, right? Are all our clients that we're doing policies for 1 million? No, it's not. So this is
Okay.
just yeah, this is just an overall visual for you to see that if you had $1 million, this is how it's gonna look. Is it realistic that everybody's gonna have to get $1 million? No. So you adjust it according to the EFA for that client. But this is just for training purposes. Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah. So we're going to keep it that way. So, can anybody just, kind of like tell me here? Somebody tell me what's going on over here on the calculating results.
Yeah, I can volunteer.
Yes, Amos, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. So now, since this is a kids policy, and we assume, as Monica said, and because so what I'm trying to read from both situations, from Monique and Edie Patricia, is Monique, yeah, is being realistic, but on the other side, sometimes some people have money, you never know. You never know. They have their money there, and when you sell them anything, or you sell them a dream towards their better, their kids' better future, they will probably, buy into it. So here you can tell the client, hey, client, we're in the tax season. You ever thought about where you want to put your returns for your kid? This is a very good account where you can get those returns instead of doing a birthday party and throw around $5,000 or $2,000 into. You can actually put that money in here for your kid. So $370 a month, if you can, is also an option for monthly. But annually, if you contribute 4,440, you will actually save more on the bank, like the charges monthly that come up with billing. So that is how I would explain it simply.
Yeah, wonderful. Pastor Christine, thank you, Amos, for that addition.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I just wanted to add to that. I agree with what both of you said, Amos. However, I just wanted to add to what Monique mentioned. I think she's really coming in from the point of compliance. She's talking from the point of policy. I mean, if you know your client and you know that they don't have even $1 million, none of the parents have $1 million in a policy. And so then in that case, you don't just let them have $1 million for the baby just because they can afford, because you know that would be non-compliant. So I think that's what we need to understand, that it's not just about affordability, but also about compliance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Well,
conclusion.
again, this is just for training purposes that we use these numbers. In real life, how many $1 million babies policies have you written or have we written? You understand what I'm trying to say? It's just a visual, right? But also it's not about compliance. I mean, I know what you're saying about compliance, but listen, if I have a $1 million baby, I have a $1 million policy, I can get a $1 million policy for my child. That's how it works. If I have a $500,000 policy, I cannot get anything above what I have for my child. That's the compliance. But if I have a $1 million policy, I can get my child a $1 million policy, period. So you understand what I'm
Okay,
saying?
that's good to know.
And the way Amos said it, some people have 4,000 every year that they can pay in this account instead of them, they're getting maybe some taxes. People get taxes, or they're putting money aside every year for their child, into a 529. And now they know about this IUL. They say, you know what? I always put 4,000 in this account every year in a 529. Now that I know that this is an index and my money is gonna do better here and I'll never lose it, I'm gonna use this money, this account. So how much is 4,000 every, 4,400? If I have to put, say for instance, 4,500 in this account, how much would that face amount be? You do the calculations, it gives you 1 million. If they can afford it, why not? Right? But is everybody gonna afford it? No. Okay. If you have a 700,000 policy, can your child get a 700,000 policy? Yes. Okay. If you have a 200,000 policy, can your child also get a 200,000 policy? Yes. So it just depends on what you, the parent, have. Whatever you have can be matched with your child. Okay. But again, this is just for, it's just for training purposes.
Oh, that's good to know. That's really good to
Yes,
know. Thanks.
exactly. Exactly. So that's how it works. I hope everybody understands what this is, where we're coming from when it comes to this, with, like you're saying, compliance and everything. It's just about affordability, really. Yes, the insurance company will not allow you to get $1 million policy for you, for the child, and you have 400. They are not going to, because they know that that can be money laundering. You want to make more money using your child, right? They are smart. But if you have 1 million, of course, the child can get 1 million. Okay. But where Monique was also coming from, I know, because, the children, there's, especially if you start them like 1 year, they have a long time for this money to build up. By the time they are going to get into their 40s or 50s, they'll have already gone over 1 million. And we can also illustrate on that, and you can see what that looks like, right? So you don't really need to do a $1 million now, because they don't need $1 million now, right? You can start way less, and then, because this is a gradual thing, right? It's like deferred. You don't want to get this money right now. This is maybe for college, maybe when they grow up and they can get money for the first home, or stuff like that, right? Or their wedding and everything. So it's not money that you're thinking, I'm going to get money now. So as it accelerates, because it's increasing, right? We are on that, we chose B for increasing. It increases because the value always is added to the death benefit. So 20 years, 30 years into that 500 or 200 or 300 that you started, these kids will be in millions. So that million, they'll get there maybe at the time when they get maybe even like from year 1 maybe to year 20. That, of course, we can do the numbers and we can illustrate. So yes, Lois.
I just wanted to piggyback on what you said. Sometimes when you do illustrations with your clients, they will tell you, can you do for such an amount? Can you do for such an amount? And that helps them to kind of see the picture of, at the age of 30, what is the amount that's going to be there for my child. Maybe they're trying to do for college. I've had clients who want to do for college. So if you start at 1 year, if you start with 250, or if you start with 200, for example, by the time they're 18, they're going to college. How much money is going to be there? Is it going to be enough to cover the college expenses? And if it's not, then they can be, okay, maybe we need to go a little bit higher, or maybe we need to do that $1 million policy, so that by the time they get to 30 years old or 25, they have money to put down as down payment for school. So really, there's no right or wrong way to do these illustrations. It just depends on what your client wants, what they're looking for. Is it for college? Is it for my kids to have money to put down as down payment? We all know down payment now is almost 60,000. By the time these kids are going to be in their 20s, it's going to be more than that, So it's just tailor-made to what your client wants. Help them achieve what they're looking for. Because you're talking to them, you're trying to find out what are they trying to achieve with this policy. It's not what we want, it's what the client wants. That's it. And if you have to explain to them, if you don't have $1 million policy, your child cannot get $1 million policy. So they can start with that. Okay, so what can we get to allow our child to have a policy that's going to tailor towards their school, towards their home, things like that. That's how you build up with your clients when you go to visit them. I just wanted to add that.
That is very true. That is very true. Every client is different. They might tell you, just like you explained, I want this for retirement. I'm getting this. I want to build this account for my retirement. So you know that the goal is for them to put as much money as they can every year, so that they start distribution at time of retirement. So now you tell them, okay, how much do you think you can put aside every month towards this goal? Okay, I can put out, 700. Okay, let's see how much the first amount is going to be for 700. You do the calculation, you put it up there, you show them. So every client is different with what they want and how much they can afford. This 1 million is just for illustration. Not everybody is going to get 1 million. Okay, so thank you for clarifying that. That means a lot. So here, like say for instance, if this child now they're saying, well, we want this child, this money to go towards tuition. At the time the child is going to go to college, usually it's between what? It's 18, right? Is it 17 or 18? It depends on the, the birth date for the child. But let's just assume 18. This account will have how much? 126. And that money might be enough for that child, depending on what they're studying, to pay without you getting, into financial aid and student loans, right? And that's just basically because this client was making a contributions of 370. If this client was saying, look, every year I want to put, 10,000 over or 15, to maxi fund, meaning that 126 is going to be way more than 120. So it's all about what you put into this account that you will reap what you sow, right? Whatever you sow, whatever you put in there, right? With the compounding factor, it'll give you that return of premium, depending. So if you just put in just your model premium, you saw the results that this is what it's gonna look like when the child is 18 years of age, going to college, 126. But if we had to change up and say that, well, this client, say for instance, they said, well, you know what, because IRS says that I can put 30,000. How about if I put 15,000 every year in this account? How is it going to look by the time the child goes to college? Can somebody tell me where to go and where are we going to change up stuff to illustrate for 15,000 every year until the age of 18? Where do we go?
We go to solve.
Great. All right, we go to solve. What do we do there? I like this training. I like to give it back to the audience. You see how this is a profound way of learning. Yeah, you can retain better.
I think we go to quick,
I think you can.
run quick solve. Run quick solve there.
Sorry, what's the question?
The question is, so we are illustrating for a child, and the maximum, the 7 pay is 30, but the client says, I want to put 15,000 into this account. I don't have the 30, but I want to do this for 18 years.
Okay.
Yeah, for 18 years. How do we illustrate that? So, Amos, you said go to where?
Yeah, maybe
Let's run quick
it's
solve.
some.
maybe Amos says another way to go there.
Okay. I'm waiting. Whoever has a way, because here we are trying to solve, right? This client says, I know that I'm gonna pay the 370 every month for my child, but I get a bonus every year, and that bonus I want to put it in this account until the child turns 18. How do we solve that?
I have a question, AD Patricia. So when we solve for that, are we only solving for the bonus, or we need to include the monthly premiums?
No, so let's just assume, right? This client wants to put 15,000, your maxi fund, 15,000. The 7 pay is 30,000.
Okay.
Okay,
But the
so
clients,
can we go down there?
go down where?
Yeah, you can.
Where's that noise coming from? Go down where?
No. You can get out of solve. You leave it to none.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think the noise is coming from you, Dr. Mputu, right?
No, I don't have noise. It's very quiet where I am.
Oh yeah. Can you guys hear that noise? Just me.
Yes, it's bad.
Yeah. Okay. I think that noise is gone. It's coming from you, Dr. Mputu. You are muted. Okay, unmute.
So do you still have the noise?
Yeah, it's gone. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So there are two ways you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe there are three. Maybe you have more. So I
Mm-hmm.
can share two ways. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can go to monthly. You can change it to annually.
Correct.
And let's say on the year on Y,
Mm-hmm.
you can put 15, 5 years, and then you come to target. You go to level, click on level, then you write the 15,000
Correct.
and you calculate. This is one way.
Okay. So did you guys see
You
that?
can
The way I
calculate it.
went?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to make sure that everybody, followed that. You change the premium mode to annually, right? Remember that we were saying this can change as we proceed, depending on what the client wants. How are you going to design that? You can choose these different tabs. So here we put it on annual. We come over here, we say specified level, right? Because there are different options. The specified varied and the specified level. So let's see what level means. And then 15,000, and then we go to calculate.
And then the year, you bring the year to 15
Okay,
because you say
and
you
then
want
you
to
bring
pay
the
for
year to
15
15. You bring the year to
Yeah.
15, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, the year was supposed to be yes, yeah, 15, yeah, because we said we're gonna do for 15 years. Okay, so now let's look at these numbers. So this child, we wanted to do at the age of 18 when the child is going to college, right?
Yeah, you can change the year to 18 there.
Okay, so this will do. So all right, so this client puts 15,000 because she gets the bonus and is like, I want to invest in this account for my child. Now look at that, right? Before, when this client was only paying for their child, how much was that? 370. By the time the child was going to school, they had how much? 100 and what, if you remember? It was like 124,000, something like that. But now look at how much money they have. You see? So whatever you put in here will give you the result based on what you put in there.
So
Right.
sorry, my ED, before we go to the second way, let's go to the premium summary there because I want to make sure I did not check the guideline level premium. Okay. So if you are putting a money like that, as we say 15. So every year we need to make sure that is equal or less than the guideline level premium. So
Exactly.
you see it's less than 17. So
Exactly.
you cannot put 18
No, because
for
it's gonna go over the MEC.
you're
Yeah.
gonna go over the MEG. So
Yeah.
we need to look at the guideline level premium. Yes. So let's
And
go to
and
the
and
second way.
also if you go over, it's gonna recalculate for you based on the
Exactly.
level so that you don't, violate that. Yeah. Okay. So this
Exactly.
is one way, right?
Mhm.
Did everybody see these numbers, guys? You see the power of putting that 15,000? It doesn't have to be for 18 years. This is just for, again, illustration purposes for us to understand that, when you maxi fund these accounts, you're gonna get better returns,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
also on the first year, there is no zero.
Exactly. There's 8,000
So
because
you don't.
you're putting
Mhm.
15,000 in this account.
Yeah.
You can put 15,000 for 5 years. It doesn't have to be 18 years. You can just say, you know what, for 5 years, I can put 15,000. It's gonna be greater than you just paying that 370 every month. So because this parent is trying to make sure that by the time the child turns to 18, she does not want the child to get into debt. So she'll do everything she can. Okay. So if she can pay for
Yeah.
18 years, that's fine. But you can also say, I just want to pay for 5 years, 15,000 for 5 years. After that, I'll just let it be until the child, even with that, if we change the numbers, the child is gonna have more than enough to go to college without getting in debt. So now, Dr. Mputu, you're gonna show us the second way.
Okay.
A
The
second
second
way.
way, we go just where we were. We bring the year back to 100, the way it was. And at the target, instead of specified, we can go to varied. And then on this table, now you can write, you see the 15 is there, and you go to until the 18, then you put 0 there. Yeah, it's already there. You can do it like this. Then you click OK, and you are there.
All right. So here, you see, this is another way, right? Let's see if it gives us the same. Yes, it gives us the same. So you can use level or you can use verified, okay? And it will give you the results. When you do verified, you go and change the year back to 100. When you do level, you go and just specify the 18 years or how many ever years that you wanted to max fund the account. In this instance, it was 18, but it can be 5, it can be 10, it can be 4. It depends on your budget, right? So these are the two ways of solving for that, $1 million baby. Look at that. This to me is incredible. This to me is incredible. And we all have to exercise this. So it's exactly an hour, 15 minutes. I think we have covered this. If anybody has maybe questions or addition, or how did you find this training? Because I kind of did something a little different here today, and I think I liked it because I think everybody gets involved. It's interactive, and people learn better. Anybody? Monique?
Was a great training. The way you did, like it was very interactive and we all learned and that was very amazing. So you did a very good job. I do have one question though. It's about the lump sum.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go through today, but I just have a question about it. My question is there any guideline when it comes to lump? Is there any max amount we can put in or there's no limitation to that? Any idea?
Yeah, there is a limitation because it tells you actually the 7 pay. If it says 30, meaning you can't go over what is indicated there. It has to be
Mm-hmm.
30 or less. You can't go over. If you go over, it will recalculate for you because you cannot violate that the maximum amount that they've given you. Does that answer your question? Monique?
Something. Oh, do you hear me?
No.
Oh, sorry. I was saying if I understand well, you said if you want to inject like a lump sum in a policy, it cannot be higher than a 7P. Am I understanding that correctly?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else? Any addition?
So let me just add my ED.
Yes.
So if on that should not be more, should not exceed the 7 pay on that year, and you also need to consider the premium that you've been paying for that year. So if your 7 pay is 30,000, and it's 6 months that you've already paid premium in that year, so the amount you need to pay plus the premium that you've already paid in that year should not exceed the 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
So if you pay the premium for 6 months and you have 30,000 you want to put, is going to be above the
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
7 pay. So you need to consider the premium that you've already paid and minus it.
right. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Mputu. Anybody? Amos, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, very good training. Thank you so much. I'm asking about the floor and the cap with the policy. Do you know that?
Yeah, I think the flow for F and G is 0.25. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if anybody knows anything different, but I think The floor is 0.25.
Yeah, so you know when you go to the review and
Let me
you
see if
know
I can go back.
yeah, if you go back to your illustration, you go to review and print,
View and
review and yeah, any of them, yeah,
okay.
and then you scroll down until the tabular page. I think it's going to be 8 or 11.
Okay, you see here it
They
says
use
yeah, could not be generated. Okay, let's see.
it could not be generated.
Yeah, I think there was a problem. I don't know whether it's
Yeah.
it says it's loading because earlier it couldn't review, compile the review page for me. It was not showing for some reason. I don't know why. But let me try again. It says it's loading.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's we are using 3 indexes. You
Can you
can
see
go
this
down.
now? Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, good. Before nobody could see it. I tried it twice. I don't know why. So let's go to the tabular, right? Is that the numeric page or the tabular? Let's see here. This is the tabular.
No, above these ones.
Okay, so the numeric. Okay.
Yeah, these ones. No, the one that you are passing now.
Tell me when to stop. Is it here?
I don't know. Maybe let's go down a bit. Yes, there. So you see, and this third column, Morgan Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
No, previous before that one. Yes, that's one.
Okay,
So
this
this is
one
the
here.
first one that you use, and you see here, let's say for the 3 of them that we use, there is no cap. They are uncapped indexes. But now for the floor, the second one, that's where you on the left,
Mm-hmm. This
on
one
the
here.
left, yes. For this one, the floor is 1.25. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
1.25. If you go down
Also, these are the
below that,
historic performances.
sorry.
I said these are the historic performances, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And this is the floor for this one is 1.25.
Mm-hmm.
The second one that we use is the one on the right, the one that follows. Yes.
This one.
No. Just immediately after the one that where we
Right
were.
here.
Yeah, that one.
0.5. Mm-hmm.
0.25. So the list of them is 0.25. And the third one that we use is the black rock.
Mm-hmm.
The black rock on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, before that.
Yeah.
Yes, that the black rock. This one is also 1.25, the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these are the 3 indexes that we are using. The floor is 1.25, 1.25, and then the other one is 0.25, as Edie said. So the list is 0.25. We don't have 00 here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the floor, the cap, there is no cap. You can see all of them, they go up to 15 to 23, 26. There's no cap. They are all of them uncapped.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Mputo. Now, what about in 2005? You see that 0.29% at the top?
At the top, on what, 2.5?
Yeah,
This.
that 0.29. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
But this, I think this is how it performed in 2005 because these are historic performances.
Yeah, I think that side they did not put the floor here.
Okay.
Maybe because these things, it was around 2007, 2008 with the crisis, the real estate crisis that's here. Then they started doing this protection. Even you can see on the Black Rock, it was even non-existing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, anybody else with an addition? Did you learn today? Was it challenging to follow, or you actually appreciated it more? So that if this is a working way of training, then maybe we can use this method the whole time, at least for a while, and then reverse it again We're trying for everybody to understand, not just for me to be telling you, but also you to tell me what you've learned from what I've shared with you, right?
Yeah, Patricia, thank you. It was productive, it was very interactive, and I have learned. So, yeah.
Wonderful.
I want to say something too.
Yes.
Really great training, Patricia. Really, really, really great training. I personally like it in the way of application basis. You giving us a scenario, what would you do in the case of this happened? Because at the end of the day, it's not about plugging the numbers. So at the end of the day, is we have to make a sense to the customer, whoever we're talking to. So if it doesn't make no sense, it doesn't matter how much you know how to use the website and plug in the numbers. It has to make sense based on the customer what they're asking you. I applaud for a very, very great training. And to say that we have to stay on this, we just use it as we go by. We can't just use in this because everybody don't learn the same way. But I really, really like the training for today.
Wonderful.
Me
Great
too.
feedback.
I want to thank you, Edie Patricia. This is a great presentation and a new method. I love it. It's very interactive.
Mm-hmm.
So I say bravo. And for the computer, great job. God bless you. Keep it up.
Hello, Patricia. I love it. I'm kind of practical, so I need to put my hands somewhere, and then I'm learning better than theory. So I love it. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to interact.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Olga. All right. Unless somebody else wants to say something, we can close. We've gone a little bit over the time, but it's always good when we have a productive training. Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Well, I will call it a day. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Mputu, for coming in and adding all these great nuggets that we are all learning, right? And everybody that's attended this training, your contribution and everything, it makes it fun. We are all learning. And now there's no silly question, so to speak. Every question is valid because we are learning from it. Okay. So thank you so very much, champions. Have a great and wonderful, productive Wednesday. Right. And tonight we have a class for students. Please, if you have any students that you have enrolled, encourage them to come to that class at night. We have the three women there that I'm telling you what, they break that down like so awesomely. They are so gifted, honestly. So if you have anybody that is struggling, you have to add them to, if you haven't they added to the forum, please get in touch with me or Dion's or Gigi, and they can, or Dr. Mputu, and they can add them to the platform. Because I realized there was some people were reaching out to me and they say, we can't see the link. And then when I looked, they were not even added. So I had to add them. So make sure that we are adding all our new recruits, our new students to the platform so that they're not missing anything, especially the training. Mondays at 8 p.m. and Wednesdays at 8 p.m., which is tonight. So with that being said, have a productive day. Thank you so very much. You all be blessed.
Thank you.